Welcome to Essay 359, Behind the Mask, produced by Layla Ahmed, for ENG4U, Miss Sina, in July 2017. Virgil once said, "Trust not too much to appearances." Looks have been repeatedly proven to be a poor indication of character, but people seem to enjoy making the same mistakes over and over again. The unbelievable trust humanity has in first impressions is what allows certain individuals to manipulate the masses using their own perception and cognizance. Arthur Golden is one of those individuals. In 1997, Golden published Memoirs of a Geisha, a novel which conceals many of its truths under a thick layer of makeup and niceties. Underneath the surface, however, lies truths which make even the most ignorant reader reflect on their initial thoughts. Throughout the novel, Golden strives to persuade readers that appearances are often deceptive through the false personas of certain characters, the protagonist's experience as a geisha, as well as the Second World War. Golden's novel includes many characters which put up false pretenses in order to mask their true personalities. However, there is one character whose personality seems to purposely contradict her outer appearance, Hatsumomo. With Hatsumomo, Golden gives this beautiful geisha the heart of a demon. Hatsumomo is the cause of Sayuri's misery during her time at the Okiya. She is constantly hurting others for her own pleasure, but hides this facet of her personality while entertaining clients. This occurs many times throughout the novel, with Hatsumomo always getting away with it due to the preciousness of her beauty. Sayuri often notes how men seem to be unable to truly discern her true nature, and wonders if Hatsumomo's beauty and grace fools men into believing that her personality must be the same as well. As the story continues, Hatsumomo is slowly and finally defeated by the protagonist. When Sayuri overtakes Hatsumomo, her mask slips off, allowing everyone to see who she really is inside. She starts to act cruelly towards clients, who still do not fully shy away due to her beauty. Yet Sayuri realizes that she was no longer as beautiful as she'd once been. Her skin was waxy looking, her features puffy. Or perhaps I was only seeing her that way. A tree may look as beautiful as ever, but when you notice the insects infesting it, and the tips of the branches that are brown from disease, even the trunk seems to lose some of its magnificence. Sayuri is now able to see the flaws in Hatsumomo's appearance. Although it could be chalked up to age, she wonders if she had potentially pierced the veil of Hatsumomo's beauty after truly seeing the extent of her cruelty. Golden uses this event to show that appearances are superficial and can be rendered ineffective when one is shown what lies beneath the surface. Although Golden may have imagined the characters of Hatsumomo and Nobu, the geisha he writes about are perfectly real. From a young age, geisha are trained to act, speak, and even sleep like true artisans. When Sayuri goes on to explain the daily routine of a geisha, she does so for a purpose. She wants to explain that when a geisha wakes up in the morning, she is just like any other woman. Her face may be greasy from sleep, and her breath unpleasant. Only when she sits before her mirror to apply her makeup with care does she become a geisha. And I don't mean that this is when she begins to look like one. This is when she begins to think like one too. In this passage, Sayuri reveals the true nature of a geisha when they are not entertaining clients. Geishas are just regular women. They have the same needs and wants as a regular woman. However, the minute she starts to get ready for the day, she paints for herself a mask of demure yet suggestive politeness to entice those around her. By explaining a geisha's daily routine, Golden reveals the fraudulence of a geisha's appearance, and the lengths they must go to preserve it. This illusion of beauty has been the focus of men for hundreds of years, and has always been brought to the forefront during times of strife and war. One of the most deceitful parts of war is the propaganda that comes along with it. In order to villainize the enemy, as well as raise the morale of allies, governments can circulate posters, advertisements, and rumors to make the enemy seem barbaric, remorseless, and something worth defeating at all costs. During the Second World War, Sayuri is exposed to horrific rumors and propaganda about the Americans. When Japan surrendered in 1945, fear arose that American soldiers would come to raze their towns and decimate the population. Their worries were proven to be false. As the soldiers came through, Sayuri realized that they were, on the whole, remarkably kind. She asks herself, herself, weren't these the very American soldiers we've been taught to hate, who had bombed our cities with such horrifying weapons? Now they rode through our neighborhood, throwing pieces of candy to the children. She is confused by their kindness and their generosity towards the Japanese, just as she was about Nobu's compassion towards herself. The sheer brutality of war is a mask in of itself, portraying even the meekest man to be a savage. As the shroud of war is lifted from the country, Sayuri is able to see these foreigners as something other than the barbarians that were told to have populated the battlefield. This world is built on outward appearance. Golden realizes this and attempts to address this in his novel by including contrasting characters, a detailed narrative about a geisha's experience, and the Japanese surrender during World War II. An interesting note is that Golden himself used deceit in order to get what he wanted. For this novel, he enlisted the help of former geisha Minako Iwasaki, who agreed under the sole condition that she not be mentioned in his novel. He agreed and promptly went against her wishes, mentioning her in acknowledgments. This led Iwasaki to become a disgrace in geisha circles. Golden's truthful appearance had fooled Iwasaki into believing his words, thus making him a real example about how looks can be deceiving. But a question remains. How does one see through another's visage while the one who exposed it is a liar himself? How does one see through another's visage when the one who exposed it is a liar himself?